It was interesting to try to, like downstairs where we really had this, I began to understand that I could create not the same original circumstances, the very first show I'd done here in '84, but I could create kind of the feel of it. And in that context, what otherwise would seem like disparate and maybe even contradictory, maybe a little too much work surrounding it on the walls, suddenly became part of that field in a way that the original show, Major During Sanders and Squat, sort of held together, which was similarly some things subservient to the overall program and some things quite individual. And that's kind of what we try to do downstairs. I always try to think about materials as if they feel like they are completely not just a surface or a treatment, but they are part and parcel to what the work is. So sometimes, of course, it's a skin, so it's it is very much about that surface. But I'd like to think that it's like the skin that contains us again, so that it's not like something that's just applied and arbitrary, but it's very much a part of what gives us definition. Preoccupation I have in my work with the insides of things and the inside and outsides of things and the threshold between, our kind of relationship to that physically and psychically, so that you're thinking about, you know, it's a physical reality, the sculpture is, but you're something that the sculpture is also large enough to walk around or force you to walk around and sort of understand it not only as an object, but understand it as some kind of completion of some psychic interaction as well. At the end of the day, I think really what artists makes artists still relevant and does not cause them to become obsolete is this very simple relationship in terms of scale. I think it's also a little bit like what we experience when we go into a museum, when we see an artist's work, is what we see as what we're looking at is one life lived by somebody in this aesthetic manner. And when I say aesthetic, I don't mean this just sort of window dressing. I mean in this sort of objectified activity that you call art. We get to go in and we say, well, we're all human beings. We're all pretty much 200 years ago, 200 years now, 200 years from now, pretty much the same one way or another, except that in any particular moment, somebody's living in that moment with those particular influences and those particular moments culturally. And that has come out as an experience on part of one person whose job it is to translate or to objectify that experience in this art. And that relationship, that scale relationship, is why I go to why go to a museum? So eyehand's just a little simplistic for that, but it's just about that kind of intimacy and that kind of scale one-to-one.